अब हम आज की इस कार्यशाला का शुभारंभ करते हैं और इसके मॉडरेटर के रूप में हम डॉक्टर एनके अग्रवाल को आमंत्रित करते हैं। वे कार्यशाला के आगे के कार्यक्रम को लेकर चलेंगे।
आज के इस कार्यशाला जो राजभवन में आयोजित की गई है, आइडियाज ऑफ विकसित भारत एट द रेट 2047, युवाओं की आवाज। इस कार्यशाला में उपस्थित माननीय राज्यपाल सह बिहार के विश्वविद्यालय के कुलाधिपति, हमारे प्रधान सचिव, सामने बैठे हुए विभिन्न विश्वविद्यालय में आए हुए कुलपतिगण, निदेशकगण, डीन, डायरेक्टर एवं शिक्षाविद। आज का दिन हम लोग के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि भारतवर्ष के इतिहास में हम एक ऐसे कदम की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं जो एक नया इतिहास बनाएगी। विकसित भारत 2047 में योगदान के लिए युवाओं को कैसे शामिल करें और हमारे युवा और शिक्षाविद खासकर इस रूप में कार्य करें कि हमारा भारत 2045 तक एक अग्रणी राष्ट्र के रूप में आए। ये प्रश्न होगा कि 2047 मिशन क्यों दिया गया। आजादी 1947 में हमें मिली थी और भारत उत्तरोत्तर विकास के पथ पर अग्रसर है और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की हार्दिक इच्छा है कि जब हम 100वें स्वतंत्रता दिवस का जश्न मनाए तो हम एक प्रमुख राष्ट्र के रूप में विश्व पटल पर अपनी पहचान बनाए। और ये तभी संभव है जब इस कदम में हमारे राज्य के शिक्षाविद छात्र पूर्णतः सहयोग करेंगे। भारत एक अग्रणी देश हो जो मानव विकास और सामाजिक कल्याण के मामले में भी एक मॉडल देश हो। युवाओं को कौशल और शिक्षा के साथ सशक्त बनाना, रोजगार के अवसर प्रदान करना। विकसित भारत एक ऐसे राष्ट्र की कल्पना करता है जो न केवल आर्थिक रूप से संपन्न हो बल्कि सामाजिक रूप से समावेशी हो, पर्यावरण के दृष्टिकोण से टिकाऊ हो और तकनीकी रूप से उन्नत हो। इस दृष्टिकोण में ही हमारे केंद्र सरकार में सशक्तिकरण की अवधारणा निहित है जो हर नागरिक तक पहुंचे। आज इसी पर एक कार्यशाला का आयोजन इस राजभवन के मंडप में किया गया है। इसमें हमारे सम्मानित पैनलिस्ट शिक्षा और उद्यमिता से लेकर लैंगिक समानता, प्रौद्योगिकी, नागरिक जुड़ाव तक सशक्तिकरण के विभिन्न आयामों पर प्रकाश डालेंगे। प्रत्येक वक्ता अपने इस दृष्टिकोण का साझाकरण करेंगे कि कैसे सशक्तिकरण का उपयोग व्यक्तिगत और सामूहिक विकास में एक उत्प्रेरक के रूप में काम हो। विकसित भारत का निर्माण हमें करना है, उस दिशा में कदम आगे बढ़ाना है। अब मैं ज्यादा समय लिए बिना मैं अपने पैनलिस्ट से आग्रह करूंगा कि वो आकर के अपनी बात रखेंगे। इस कड़ी में मैं सबसे पहले पाटलिपुत्रा विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर आर.के. सिंह जी, जो इनोवेशन, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इन विकसित भारत 2047 पर अपनी बात रखें, इसके लिए मैं उन्हें सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं। प्रोफेसर आर.के. सिंह।
Honorable Chancellor and Governor, Universities of Bihar, and because of today's function that how we can achieve India as a Viksit Bharat by 2047, and just we have listened the speech of Honorable Prime Minister, which was very thought-provoking, and how he can be proved to be a good leader of making this India Viksit Bharat by 2047. When we talk about how we can achieve the goal by 2047, how we can bring India as a developed country, that is a big challenge. If we talk about the economy of other countries, which are developed ones, they have beyond the 30 trillion economy till now. But as compared to our India, the other countries are like Japan, Singapore. Singapore is the latest we can see that how they can have become a developed country. Their economy in the form of either innovation or the technologies are far beyond. You can take the example of South Korea. All the chips which have been manufactured and propagated throughout the world almost from the South Pole. This is a very small country in comparison to the Indian country. So our Honorable Prime Minister focused that why India cannot become a developed country, which has at present 3.1 trillion economy worldwide. How we can proceed to make this developed country by 2047 and the propagated goal as $30 trillion investment, either in the form of manufacturing or the production of the agriculture or the biotechnology, that is of prime importance. And there is a certain goal has been defined that by 2030, if we talk about the United States, the economy was in terms of $1 trillion economy. This was by 2020 it was 25.5. China has 17.9. Japan has 4.2 trillion economy. Germany has 4.1, whereas India has 3.4, which is the fifth one in the all over worldwide economy. So we are standing economic-wise on the fifth position. So why we can that is the main end when we have such a rules. Now, when we talk about how we the 30 trillion economy by 2047, some goal has been defined by the government of India and the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, that the GDP at country prices in terms of a trillion by 2030, our GDP should increase to 6.7 trillion, and by 2040 16.1, and by 2047 it should become 29. This is the projected goal what the government of India has achieved, are going to achieve. And the per capita GDP at current prices, by 2030 it should be 4.418 trillion, by 2040 it should be 10.021 trillion, and by 2047 it should be around 17.590. Now, there are also exports, imports, investments and savings projection also. The export should be 1.6 trillion by 2030, and by 2040 it should be 4.6, and by 2047 it should be 8.7. Similarly, imports 1.9 trillion economy by 2030, and by 2040 it should be 5.9, and by 2047 it should be 12.1. investment in the form of either public sector or by the private sectors should be given a goal of 195.5 trillion by 2030, and by 2040, 591.1, and by 2047 it has been figured as 1,273.4. And savings, what the projections India should have by 2030 should be 207.8 trillion, and by 2040 it should be 659.4, and by 2047 it should be around 1,839.7. This is the goal what we have projected by our government of India and by the previous Prime Minister. But the challenges is how we can achieve all these kinds of goals. We are hiring and subletting some units from the other small industries, and they are assembling at one place. Everybody knows that whatever the product Japan is producing is of very high quality. And they always go for the innovations, innovative ideas. Every time they used to change depending upon the situation and environment of the country. So same thing we have to also add in our Indian scenario, and for that there should be process, should be mechanized by the government of India, so that ease out how they can help in starting new startups, our young and youth generation, which are going to come by a big industry by 2024 or by 2047. That is the main aim. And all of you know that adaptability is the one of the factors that always happens. If you not adapt the new technologies, new system, new scenario, for example, we talk about the mobile system, we talk about the smart TVs. Every day they are changing something so that they can sell their products. They are launching the new product, new forms of by adding some either softwares or some applications, and everybody is rushing to purchase new mobiles, either it is a 1 lakh or the 50,000 or so on. And everybody is purchasing. They are, even 1 year back they might have purchased their mobile, they are changing. So this is how the innovative ideas has to come, so that the demand ratio should be beat out and the economy will grow. That's what will happen. Now, what is the significance of science and technology on the new economy system? As all of us know, and let us take the example of farming. Our Honorable Prime Minister wanted that land should be transferred to the fields. Earlier, what was the tools we have available for the farming? They used to produce very small productions. Yields were very low. But as technology is increasing and the technology is used by the farmers, but whatever we are producing in the labs, we are doing some research and innovations.